In this lesson, we are going to create an order. When users select a product, add it to cart, proceed to checkout, and go to place order or preview order section, we are going to implement the place order in the front end and back end. When user click on place order, what we do is to send an AJAX request, create an order in the back end, and redirect user to the order details page. Also, clear the cart for new orders. To get the source code of this lesson, go to the repository and in the comment section, find video 28, implement place order action. Let's get to code. Here is the plan to implement place order action. Let's go to the place order screen. Let's define the use reducer at the beginning of this component. After use navigate, define use reducer like this. Import use reducer from React, and what we get from use reducer is data and dispatch action. ID construct loading and error variable from the state or data of this reducer. The default value for loading and error is false and empty, and it's time to define the reducer itself. As we saw in previous lessons, reducer is independent of the component, so I define it out of the place order screen component. And what we do in the reducer is to define a switch case that check the action.type. Close the switch, and inside that, define the first case. The first case is create request. I dispatch this action right before sending AJAX request to create an order. The second one is create success. I just set loading to false. And the last one is create file. I just set the loading to false too. As a default case, return the current state like this. Save the file, and here is the reducer. So we have two dispatch here, a dispatch from the reducer and another dispatch from the context. I just rename this one to context dispatch. Now that I have my reducer, it's time to go to the place order action and define the try catch block. In the catch block, what I do here is to dispatch create fail and use toast.error to show the error message to the user. Let's import toast and get error. Scroll up, import get error and toast. Go back to the place order action and go for the try part. First of all, we need to dispatch create request action, and then it's time to send the AJAX request using Axios library. Here is the code for this AJAX request. The API that I'm going to send the request is a /API/orders, so I need to create this API later. The data that I'm going to send to the backend to create an order is order items, shipping address, payment method, and the calculated fields for items price, shipping price, tax price, and total price. Also, as a second parameter for the Axios.post function, I'm passing options, and the options that I'm passing here is the header, and for header I'm setting authorization to barrier, and the value for barrier is the token. By having this option, this API is authenticated, and in the server I can detect if the request is coming from a logged in user or a hacker. After sending the request, use context dispatch to dispatch cart clear action. I will implement this one in the context dispatch, and then dispatch create success. So this one goes to the store.js, and this one goes to the reducer that we defined here. The next step is removing items from the local storage, because I created this order, so the shopping cart should be clear for the next order, and then redirect user to the order details page. We implement this page later. For creating the URL, I'm using data.order._id. The data is coming from backend, so I need to pass the created order from backend to frontend to redirect user to the correct page. Let's import Axios. Scroll up at the beginning. I just imported Axios. Good, let's use loading an error. Because we show the error like this, there is no need to use the error, so I just get rid of the error here and here. And for loading, just scroll down to find the button, place order button, and right after this button, show a loading box. Loading box is coming from where? Nice. Let's go to the store.js to implement cart clear action. Find the cart remove item, and right after that implement cart clear. What I do here is to keep the state of the context and also keep the state of cart, but what I do is to change the cart items to empty array. Let's check the result. Open inspector, go to network tab and click on place order. I'm getting this error request failed with a status code 404 because this API, the post/API/orders does not exist, but the payload is the data here. Let's implement this API. To create an order, we need to define the order model. Go to backend folder, inside the models, duplicate, let's say, user model and rename it to order model. Get rid of all fields here and rename it to order. Here, order schema, order object, and order object. The first field is order items. Order items is an array, and for each item of the array, we are going to save the item information. Here is the item information: the slug of the item, name of the product, quantity, image, price, and the product. Product here is a reference to the product model. Let's go for the next field. It's shipping address. Right after order items, define shipping address like this. Its full name, address, city, postal code, and country, all of them are string and required. The next one is payment method and payment result. We will fill the payment result in next lessons. The next fields are items price, shipping's price, tax price, and total price. All are numbers. Also, we need to save the user that created this request, this order, and let's save 4 new fields. They are is paid status, paid at of type date, is delivered status, and delivered at of type date. Save the file, and here is the order model. To save an order, we need to create a route like what we did for user route. We can duplicate it and rename it to order routes. Get rid of all APIs and only keep the order router. We don't need to decrypt, but we need this one. Let's implement the API for post. Here is the API for post. When we send a post request to /API/orders, this function will respond. I'm using Express async handler to catch all errors. And inside this function, define an order like this. And here I'm gonna fill the information of the order. The first one is order items. For order items, I'm using map function to convert underline ID to product. Because in the order model, for each item I have product and I need to fill the ID of each product in this field. That's why I'm using this map function. Then fill other fields. They are shipping address, payment method, prices, and the last one is the user, and user is coming from rec.user._id, but we didn't fill this value. So I need to define a middleware to fill the user object of request from the token. To do that, define a middleware named isOf right before this function, and isOf is responsible to fill the user of the request. Let's implement isOf in the utils folder. It's a middleware function, so I need to define this signature. It's a function that accepts request, response, and next. First of all, get the authorization from request.headers and check if it does exist. If we have authorization, get the token from the authorization by using a slice. What it does is to get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 character and get the token part, get rid of barrier and only get the token part and put it in the token variable, and use the jwt.verify function. The first parameter for verify is token, second parameter is jwt secret, and the third one is a callback function. In the callback function, we have two parameters. If there is an error, the error has value, so we send back this message to backend invalid token. But if everything is okay, the decode is the decrypted version of the token that includes user information. So we fill rec.user with the data and go to the next. By calling next, we will go to the order routes to this function. So at this point, I have rec.user. Save the file here, and make sure that we have the else case for authorization. If we don't have authorization, there is no token. So I need to send this error message to the user. Go back to order route, and after creating the order, it's time to call order.save. So it's new order, and I just call save a new order to create an order. At the end, we need to send this status code 201, successful creation, and the data is message, the value is new order created, and the order itself. So here I have order._id in the front end at this point. Great, we successfully created the backend API. Let's use it in the server.js. Here, like what we did for the users, we have orders here and it's order router. Press tab to import order router from this file. Let's check the results. Clear, and click on place order. We are getting this error. What does it say? When we get this error, we need to go to the terminal for backend project and check the error. It says isOf is not defined. Go to the order route. For isOf, we need to import it. Change generate token to isOf and change the order user to order. This time there is no error. Let's check the result again. Clear the error, place order. Awesome. The order is created. The status is 201. If I click on this, I'm getting this data from backend. The message is new order created, and here is the all order information. The ID is A3, and as you see, I will be redirected to order/A3. I need to implement the order details screen in the next session. So we successfully created an order. Let's test it again. Select a product, add it to cart, select another product, add it to cart, change the value, proceed to checkout. Here is the shipping address, continue, payment, and click on place order. As you see, the cart is empty and the new order created in the database. That's it about this lesson. Let's review what we did in this lesson. In server.js, we added a new route for order. In utils.js, we created ease-of middleware to authenticate requests based on the barrier token. We created order model to save an order in the database. We created order route to create an order in the backend. In store.js, we added cart clear action to empty to make cart items empty after placing an order. And in the place order screen, we implemented placing order. That's it about this lesson. Until next lesson, bye-bye.